So the other day, I asked my Discord to give me any Osu challenges they could think of, and I would have to complete them. Now let me tell you, this was clearly a mistake, because despite clarifying that it should only take a few hours, some of these took me almost a week, and others were so hard I had to nerf them or give up entirely. So let's get started and go down the list from easiest to hardest. We have to FC a 6 or a 7-star map with this skin. Seems pretty normal. However, if I were to perhaps miss one of these notes, you would soon see the issue. Yeah, so you don't want to miss any of the notes. Basically, this skin is kind of just playing with sudden death on, but I don't think it should be hard. I will try a 7-star. And try a 7-star I did, many times in fact. You know, I really didn't think this would be an issue, because as long as you don't miss, this challenge is basically just playing with a skin you're not used to. And I've FC'd countless 7-stars throughout my Osu career, okay? I even have multiple 500s. I mean, I thought this would be easy, but apparently I was very wrong. I would just do a 6-star. Bro, oh my god. How am I so bad? Let's see, I have 5 FCs on this. If I can't FC this, like, I don't even know. Okay, At this point, I was losing unprecedented volumes of aura. I mean, I couldn't even FC a 6-star, like, come on, I just gotta retire, man. It got so bad, I had to resort to Harumachi Clover. Oh my god! Oh my god! Look at that awesome results screen. Alright, this challenge is an interesting one, as I don't play tablet, so honestly I could use my default area and it would still be pretty hard. So yeah, I wasn't feeling great, and after rolling my area, I was feeling even worse. Oh my god, this is evil. This could either be very easy or insanely challenging, and so far I feel like it's insanely challenging. Alright. Not a great start here. Oh, missing a lot of the, okay. Huh. Guys, I don't know if this is possible. Now, I'll be honest, being unable to even get past the first 10 seconds of a 4-star map didn't really make me feel confident, and that 50 PP milestone was starting to look a lot more intimidating. Wait. How many performance points are we looking at? 33? Dude, no, I'm realizing how insane that run was. I need a tapping map, bro. Like, these jumps are insane. How much PP is that? Wait, 29? Okay! Please! No! Oh my god, I'm cheating. I'm cheating, baby. I'm Vaxay, I'm Cookie Z, I'm MREC, I'm all of them, bro. I'm a freak. You know, at the time, I don't think I realized just how diabolical easy really is, and I kind of thought it wouldn't even be that hard to get a 100 PP play. But just like everything so far in this video, I clearly overestimated my capabilities. I think this was the first challenge that actually felt difficult, and I spent about 20 minutes trying to get a 100 PP play until it hit me. I already had one. It was just from almost 2 years ago. But hey, as long as I still remember the map, I could probably replicate it without much trouble. Bro, how did I FC this before? I need to watch this replay and study it. No, I was moving different. Like, bro, I was so good. What the fuck? What happened? Clearly, I was no longer the easy player I used to be, and so at the time I gave up and decided to come back to it off stream, which I'm proud to report I did indeed do, and it didn't even take me very long. You know, I'm starting to think I just play Osu 100 times worse on stream. Now this is probably the weirdest challenge so far, and it's also extremely nerfed from the original suggestion, which was to get a top 50 PP play mouse only while eating food with my left hand. And for my profile, a top 50 play would mean I had to get over 400 PP. Needless to say, I think the nerf was justified, as I can't even get a 200 mouse only. But at first, I actually thought I could, so I tried to do that for a while before it was very clear that shit was not happening, especially while eating food. So honestly, this whole thing was a bit of a disaster, but hey, eventually I did complete the challenge. What? This is a good cracker opportunity. Okay, I'm done with the cracker. Bro. Wait. Yes! Amazing! Now that I had the first few challenges out of the way, this is where things start to heat up and we get into the actual demonic garbage I had to tolerate. Oh boy. Now, I was a little worried about this challenge, and the first hurdle was to even find a map ranked earlier than 2010, because there aren't that many. Luckily, through a mix of using Osu Collector and just going to old mappers' profiles, I was able to make a collection of about 50 maps I could try. And try I did. I played about 5 to 6 different maps, trying to gauge whether they were FCable or not, and also whether I was willing to put up with the wonderful gift that is 2009 Osu mapping. But eventually, I found the holy grail in everyone's favorite map, Ocarina of Time Melody. Yeah, I have no clue what this is. But hey, as long as I just got a good combo with Hidden DT, I would be able to reach the leaderboard. However, as you might expect, there were some questionable patterns. Come on, bro, this has to be the map. Like, why are they mapping that? Fuck, man. Dude, I just can't with these stupid streams. Dude, I'm just missing on bullshit, bro. No, please. Yes, dude. We're still top 50. Okay, bro. This map is fucking terrible. This was one of the challenges I was most worried about. Not because it's super hard, although it kind of is, but rather because I only have 4 FCs in my top 10, meaning I didn't really have a lot of maps to choose from here. And out of those 4 maps, we can easily rule out the 2 highest ones, since they're definitely too hard to replicate, meaning I really only had 2 maps I could play. Or so I thought. But then I remembered my score on Trio Cup isn't even an FC because I slider broke on the last 10 notes. So I really just had the 1 map left. Now you might be thinking, this is starting to look pretty bad for me, and under normal circumstances you'd probably be right. However, it just so happens that I already have 3 FCs on this, so I was actually feeling pretty confident. I was a little worried I might get mind blocked though if I retry spammed it too much, so I tried to only go for attempts if I was playing well or was properly warmed up. And I got some good runs every now and then, but couldn't quite pull through, until eventually I got a run that was off to a really good start. I had great accuracy, okay, I was feeling good, but in the second half, I started to get a little nervous, okay, the cursor was shaking a bit, I was dropping some accuracy, and the blood pressure was spiking to critical levels. By some miracle though, I pulled through, and while I didn't beat my previous score, I did still re-FC it, meaning now I have 4 FCs. Hooray. If I was worried about the last challenge, then this one absolutely terrified me, because while in theory getting top 50 on an 8-star might not be that hard if it was recently ranked, the stipulation that it had to be more than a week old left me in a pretty precarious spot. Realistically, I only had a very thin window of time in which a map might even be doable. It had to be ranked more than a week ago, but less than about 2 weeks ago, as by then the leaderboard would probably just be too competitive. So similar to the last challenge, challenge, I was extremely limited on maps I could feasibly attempt. And in the worst case scenario, I wouldn't even have any doable maps and would simply have to wait for more to get ranked, meaning in theory this could take me weeks or even months. Needless to say, things were not looking good for the upload schedule. However, after some searching, I found a map that just might be doable. Okay, we hit that. Come on, bro. I'm like a million points away. Please. No, man. I don't understand, bro. How does he beat me when I have double his combo? I guess he has half my misses. But my AC is better too. Oh, he doesn't have no fail. Wait, how did this guy even pass the map without no fail? What? Yeah, I mean, truly, this was the battle of terrible scores. It was D rank versus C rank, and somehow I was losing. It turns out 8.5 star to 20 BPM spaced streams are actually pretty hard, and my biggest issue with this map is trying not to chain miss 50 notes in a row. I was so close though, and being just 5 spots away from the top 50 meant this was probably the best shot I would ever get at completing this challenge. Dude, I can't be missing there, no. Come on, bro, I need to lock in. I'm 300,000 points away, oh no, less, 250,000, come on, bro. I can do it. Yes! Yes! Number 48, I might be almost last place, but I'm in the top 50 anyway, let's go! At this point in the video, we crossed the threshold of kinda fun or challenging to absurdly difficult, as this challenge alone took me more time than everything previously combined. It's pretty straightforward, all I have to do is just FC this map, and it's only 6 stars, so it shouldn't even be that hard. Right, guys? Wrong, this map is inarguably utter evil and probably made by terrorists. You have to play it with the storyboard on, and really it's just a series of minigames, which in theory doesn't sound that hard. However, this took me way too long, and I didn't even FC it, okay? I had to nerf this challenge from being an FC down to getting top 250 on the map, which, well, a lot easier, would still be insanely hard, as it has almost 40,000 scores. At first, I didn't quite realize what I was getting myself into though, and thought if I just took the time to properly learn the map and get used to the minigames, it would be fairly easy. Fast forward a few days though, and I was starting to realize that even if you do learn the map, it's still just pretty hard to execute. And most of the time, I struggled to even get over 200 combo, and there were some really awkward parts, mainly towards the ending. The two biggest choke points are firstly this section with the red squares. Some of these patterns are simply diabolical. I mean, just looking at this in the editor really goes to show just how cursed this map is. And secondly, this part near the end, which is just hard to aim, especially if you're nervous, and that's without the storyboard being in your face. But eventually, after a lot of practice, I was ready to start going for attempts, and quickly got a pretty decent run. Please, man. No. Get me out of this stupid map. And just a few minutes later, I was on the run of my life. Up until now, my best combo ever had been just a little over 200. But I locked in and doubled that, holding combo all the way through the hardest parts of the map until breaking on the purple section of Misery and Despair. But the question remained, was it enough? The anxiety of not knowing eating away at me as beads of sweat rolled down my cheek. Okay, sorry, I'm getting a little too into this. Let's just cut to the results screen. Come on, bro. Come on, that's what I'm fucking talking about. I'm free, bro, I'm free. At long last, we reach the final boss of Osu challenges, and this one seems pretty intimidating as I have to play a 70-star map on Osu Catch. Alright, fuck that, thanks for watching, and hopefully, see ya next time. Wait, no, we're not done yet. Luckily for me, the goal here doesn't require me to actually play this map, but rather to miss every single note, which to be fair also sounds insanely hard. Similar to the last challenge, this was designed to be played with the storyboard on, as the way it works is someone basically recreated Touhou, a famous bullet hell game, inside of Osu, meaning to put it simply, you have to dodge stuff. Unlike Touhou, however, this is made in the Osu Catch editor, meaning there's a few limitations. First off, you can't move up or down on the screen, as you can only move side to side and catch, and you also can't slow down your character, something that's pretty important in most bullet hell games. That being said though, you can speed up, so maybe that's kinda helpful. Now the good news is I've played at least a little Osu Catch over the years, and I also have a decent amount of experience with bullet hell games, including Touhou, so surely this challenge would be easy for someone of my skill. Anyway, on my first run I got hit like 50 times. Not gonna lie, I wasn't sure this challenge was even possible. I mean, look at it, man, it just seems way too hard. But I wanted to wait a few more days to give it a fair shot before deciding whether to give up or not. I made some practice difficulties of the hardest parts and got to grinding, trying to find a consistent way to do each part every time, so all my runs would be at least relatively similar and I could actually learn the optimal and easiest pattern. And after about 2 hours, I was feeling a lot better about this challenge, and then proceeded to get an absolutely generational run where I only got hit 4 times.
Oh my god, bro, 4? Wait, no, I'm different. Like, I'm actually different.
My confidence was at an all-time high, but even still, the difference between getting hit 4 times and just once is pretty drastic. And there were still some parts of the map that just felt unreasonably hard. Like this part, I mean seriously, it was clear that I needed to come up with an actual strategy. And that brings us to the power of edging. In theory, if you could align yourself with the edges of the playfield and find a safe spot, it would be perfectly consistent every time. And so I spent about an hour going through the whole map and trying to find times when I could sit at either the right or left side of the screen without taking damage. However, it's still far from trivial, as you still have to learn the timings of when you need to move to avoid getting hit. But using audio cues, most of the time I could count the number of attacks before moving, as this map has custom sounds that are loud as fuck. And so, over the course of about a week, through a mixture of memorization, audio cues, and patience, I created the perfect strategy, which meant it was time to get out there and do some goddamn runs.
Oh my god, bro. I'm so happy. I'm actually so happy. Yes, dude, this took forever. Oh my god.
Well, those were all the challenges I was able to complete, and sorry to anyone whose suggestion didn't make it into the video. Some of them were kinda hard to do for reasons besides the challenge itself, like this one, because I just couldn't find a high-ranked multi-lobby to join, so I gave up. Anyway though, thanks for watching, and hopefully, see you next time. Also, I don't want any comments about how I didn't know you can sort by date ranked on the Osu website to find old maps. Okay, for some reason, I just forgot. I promise I'm not stupid, okay?